is the CNN piece. And you're not going to be able to hear the video, but at least you can see it if it plays. Let's get this to play. And the problem is I never figured out the sound thing, but look at that. And it's like scratched in algae in the back. Can you absolutely imagine what it took that person and what trauma that poor beautiful manatee had to go through because of this idiot? I mean, this is like a sick person. You're right, Olivia, it was. And she hopes they are eaten by a pack of orcas. I'm so sorry. It's just like freaking ridiculous. But that was the little CNN, and that's why I picked CNN. You know, remember how we used to call it Clinton News Network, and what was it? Just all the names. But anyway, they're offering a reward, and it was discovered Sunday in Florida's Homosassa River with the president's name in capital letters on its back. And the Center for Biological Diversity they're on the case. They're looking at this, and right now there's a $5,000 reward. They're not billboards, and people shouldn't be messing with these sensitive and imperiled animals for any reason. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing because we all know, if we watch today, what happened. So in my research then, to kind of put a spin on stupid humans, we're going to go through an article about stupid humans, which are going to take us to stupid humans I found, the climate denier stupid humans. So here we go. Stupid humans. And it's literally an article. It's from June 17th, 2019. Stupid humans. And I'm going to go down all the way to the end first because it's by Caleb Scharf. And this guy's really interesting. He is the director of astrobiology at Columbia University. And he's co-author of more than 100 scientific research articles in astronomy and astrophysics. He also writes about his newest stuff is about alien life. So he's a pretty cool guy. So let's look at this. If we are a dud experiment, is there hope? What do you think? Is there hope? Is it hopium? Or is humanity just a big fucking dud? So step into the world almost anywhere, even a densely packed city of concrete and steel, and if you are observant, you will witness the extraordinary phenomena of life. The world is pulsing and quivering with the animated cascade of molecular machinery that constitutes living systems. Your own body is a mass of some 37 trillion cells, a number still notoriously difficult to compute, varied in structure, purpose, and behavior. These cells have grown out of a single zygote, a genetic blending of your parents that has doubled, quadrupled, and grown exponentially in number. Your brain is precisely crumpled. It's a precisely crumpled sheet of 86 billion spindly, creepy looking neurons formed during your embryonic state in an astonishing bacchanal of cells racing up a 3 millimeter neural tube at the average rate of 250,000 per minute. Your heart is a tuned, auto-correcting, self-squeezing engine of about 2 billion cells. Added to these human... do you want to look at TIA crap? No, maybe you'd rather look at me while I'm reading it. Added to these human cells are the cells of your microbial companions, probably at least as many as your own. The human microbiome is an essential part of who we are, just as we are of what it is. Oh, and within us is a ceaseless chatter of molecular signaling and one-upmanship of small and large conflicts and emergent mutualisms, all coming together in a perilously balanced equilibrium that makes you, well, you. Any other living thing that you see is the same. And unseen but flooding the air, water, and ground are yet more organisms and viral suborganisms. The vast majority of these microscopic entities have no need for us and are busy extracting and excreting the chemical pieces in processes that have sustained life and sculpted the planet for the past 4 billion years. As much as any of us is part of this lineage, we are also undeniably unusual in our capacity to process information in the most novel ways. We are a cognitive species. We compute and we cogitate. Somehow, in a way that no scientist or philosopher or scholar has yet adequately explained, we appear to have the capacity to understand and recognize the nature of our existence and of the deeper mechanics of the world. The thing we call reality may still elude us in many respects. But we have discovered logic, mathematics, physics, and other pieces of the puzzle of the emergence of complexity in the universe. And yet, do we seize the remarkable and unexpected opportunity that the cosmos has unintentionally thrown at us? Do we grab onto every moment of each of our lives and gorge on that banquet of knowledge and meaning staring us in the face in order to learn and to prosper as surprised children of a formless Big Bang? Nope, not really. Instead, as we all know, we create a mess of problems. We make too many humans, we don't feed each other properly, we bicker, we argue, we wage war, and we willfully deny so much of reality. We make ignorance into a vocation. Now, of course, it could be argued that we literally can't help this. We are as bound to the processes of Darwinian selection and evolution as the lowliest microbe. To function and propagate into the future as a species, we must accept variation and imbalance, whether it's in physical traits or in intelligence and behavior. There is no monochrome future of identical human mindsets because such a thing will be pruned by natural selection in the face of changing environments. But when we know that we're doing a bad job, when we know that today's natural riches are fleeting and exploiting them is going to lead to enormous hardships within a single lifetime, we really should be able to pull it together just a bit better, don't you think? I wish I could see a real answer. A corrective behavior, that would be infectious and compulsive so that we'd all follow along. Perhaps something like that exists and we'll suddenly be addicted to it. But the odds, they seem pretty poor. So that leads to a really depressing conclusion. All of our brilliance and cognitive exceptionalism on this planet must actually be at the remedial end of the cosmic scale of possibility. Whatever we think high intelligence is, well, that's just wrong. We're not even close, and we're not even good enough to imagine what that really looks like. Our ideas of super intelligence are like a crayon drawing made by a distracted 4-year-old compared to what might actually be. And maybe we can never bootstrap ourselves to a better place. Whatever core molecular patterns and mechanisms would wound up producing and surviving lineages for life on Earth cannot be undone at this point without undoing us. In other words, there are restricted options, and this is our lot. The one tiny glimmer of possibility I can see is in our machines. If there is a way to enable our algorithms and so-called AI to not learn like us in any way, to seek out a different path entirely in the landscape, to build themselves, to ignore our blueprints and schemes, right down to the substrates and logic gates, maybe something interesting can happen. Perhaps one day, a freely evolved machine will think all about us stupid humans who nonetheless managed to set in motion the process that led to its existence. Then maybe it will do the thing we never could, make us into something better. I liked it. Of course, it's a bit of hopium. He is an astrophysicist. And of course, he thinks of the future in different ways than, let's say, a climate scientist would. He thinks of ways, but I thought it was illustrative of, how I was thinking today. Of course, my thinking was a lot more basic. My thinking was quite a bit. Sorry, my phone rang and she knew I was doing a show. My thinking was quite a bit more angry, disgusted, basic human emotion. I wasn't thinking with my brain, I was thinking with my guts. Warren says, we represent so much potential. However, all that is probably out the window in light of the predicament. I believe we missed an evolutionary step that could have seen us through to our full potential. Possibly. But yet, well, there's so many different, Sapolsky is out there, and then the others talk about free will and determination. And do you think that we really could have gone that far? No, because perhaps it was our destiny to destroy ourselves. And it sure shows that we are. Janet. Really? I'll have to read hers. It's telling something about my Facebook thing. My God. Hi, Scott. Woman T. How are you? So actually, Janet, thank you. I will read it. They're probably, Facebook hates me. It's okay. Let them block me. I don't give a shit. It doesn't really matter because I have my alter ego. You all know my alter ego. Okay, so this is where this took me. And I really cannot show you the article because it was shared with me from someone and their name is in it. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview because we are now going to the climate science deniers. We are now going to take a trip into the insanity of the end days of this failed administration, in this failed civilization, in this ever inching closer to collapse that we get, and we are. No matter what Michael Mann says, we are inching towards it. Well, this was the Washington Post, and this was today. Trump officials reassigned by White House after publishing controversial climate papers without approval. Papers with presidential seal appear on contrarian websites without authorization, prompting the reassignment of David Legates and Ryan Mao. So talking about stupid individuals, and these are educated stupid individuals, but they are definitely individuals who have succumbed to the lure of greed and to the lure of fossil fuel money, basically. And looks like, hey, this multi-streaming thing is working out, but where the hell's everybody from YouTube? Okay, so anyway, I'm whining. So this was an article talking about these articles that I guess they went rogue. And they decided they were going to do as much damage or steal or try to coerce and change people. These are out and out climate change deniers. And these articles were never approved by the White House Office of Science and Technology. They published them, and in all these different gross, places. It was a climate change information brief, an introduction to climate change information briefs, and it goes into that. But basically, these two really said that, they just decided we're going to do what the fuck we want. Scott Smolin, Deputy Director of NOAA Communications, said the publication of the documents will be reviewed under the agency's scientific integrity policy. In this administration, there is no scientific integrity. What do you think? Do you think there's any? I didn't think there was any. Maybe the guy that went to NASA, maybe a little bit. ATCR Galaxy, thank you for joining. Oh yeah, Jim, I know you got me with that one too. Penn State evidently still has $3 billion in fossil fuel investment, where Michael Mann is a professor. Well, sometimes it's hard, and I'm not going to take any sides or whatever, but if you don't pay attention to what you're investing in through your university of your own personal stuff, you may not know, but he's got to know. And that's a big conundrum. That is for us. Hi, Suzanne. Okay. So, Manatee. Yeah, Manatee. I actually sat here at my little desk here, and here's the tissues. I just sat here today and for like a good 20 minutes and just cried over the state of everything. And it's not just the United States, it's humans. That's why I showed that video in the beginning. It was only a 6-minute smattering of the development of humans, but as you can see, we are not a very nice species. And I don't hate my friends. I don't hate people. I just look over all the species. As bright as we could be, they're ugly. It's ugly. Look what happens. They steal. They lie. They cheat. They hurt. They kill. They murder. And they murder sometimes in disgusting ways, like Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, it's a shame. Anyway, the papers include the claim that subscribing to the idea of human-caused global warming involves a large measure of faith, and that computer models are too small and slow to produce meaningful climate simulations. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. All right, I'm just not. They said it was like 9 2 to 10 page essays that question the reliability of the climate models, the human-induced causes of climate change, yada yada, all the bullshit that these assholes come up with. So we're going to move on to the Desmog blog, because it's so obvious that they're sneaking in to try to minimize the greatest threat to the planet and use whatever means they have to. Okay? Whatever means they have to. Climate deniers moved rapidly to spread misinformation during and after the attack on the Capitol. I like DSmog blog. And of course, I'm not going to read all of it because I read the first article in its entirety about stupid humans, which I liked and was our little foray into science for the evening. But this prominent climate science deniers moved rapidly to spread false and misleading conspiracy theories online during and after the attack on the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters this week. Some climate deniers, including some with ties to the Heartland Institute and other organizations that have historically helped to create false impression that there is sizable scientific disagreement on climate change, also directly expressed support for the attackers and called for more violence. How disgusting is that? For the biosphere, humans are not nice species. You could say that again. I'm about tired of this world and looking to get out of it alive. Not yet. You're with me. It's not my time. You're with me. There's a lot of us out here. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, really, we're watching the greatest show on earth. We're watching, it's not Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. But Maureen's better book, Hermit. Well, we all know why. Yeah, okay. So let's go a little bit farther on this, because then we're going to go into who those two guys were that did this in the United States government to make us look like even more schmucks than we already look around the world, because everybody around the world is, hi, Schutzy. Why are you always late, buddy? Maybe it's dinner time. Okay, so here we are. They were striking fear in politicians. It's not a bad thing. The Climate Depot Twitter account. Yeah, they make you think that they are real scientists, or maybe they are real scientists, but they make you think that they're not on the take by the fossil fuel industry. And I agree with Michael Mann there. But these guys are the ones he's been fighting for years, because these guys are the ones that are out there, and these guys really do have the backing of fossil fuel money. Do I look like I have the backing of the fossil fuel industry? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, so they go on to talk. All right, let's see. Thomas Jefferson. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Are they sick? What's needed next is mass protest to storm state capitals and the CDC to end COVID lockdowns once and for all, the thread continued. This Climate Depot account, created in 2009, is held by Mark Morano, the communications director for the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow. Oh, isn't it interesting? CFACT. How about no fact? A Washington DC-based think tank with a history of receiving funding from Exxon and the conservative dark money organization Donors Trust. Morano serves as the executive director of CFACT's Climate Depot website, which is DSmog's, which has the DSmog database, which we're going to look at in a couple of minutes, puts it, regularly publishes articles questioning man-made global warming. So let's see what this idiot says. Many of my colleagues on the right are horrified by the Capitol under siege, but I'm failing to muster outrage at the protests. This is way beyond Trump. It's about lockdowns and tyrannical government, striking fear in politics. You know what? Ugh. Guys, I don't like them. They make me want to do ugly things myself. And that's not an easy one, huh? Well, not for me anyway. Let me just check and see. How you doing there on Facebook? All right, guys, you're still with me. That's awesome. It's working. This guy, Morano, he was in the climate denial movement. He's in the Heartland Institute. You know, my favorite. I've done many shows on the Heartland Institute. But, you know, I'm going to go through all this, but I don't want to go through all this, really. Let's see. Oh, yeah, they even went as far as the Antifa thing. So, I'm really not going to go through all this, because what I want to do is just as illustrative of the nonsense going on. What I want to do is introduce you to David Legatus, one of the guys that is responsible for the plethora of articles that came out. And he is a professor of climatology, University of Delaware. I don't know how they keep him. Okay. And then there's Christy, Essex, Lupo, Roy Spencer, notorious. He's notorious. Maui, we're going to go through Maui and Legatus. And we can look at a couple. Dr. Willie Soon. Oh my God. He's like one of the worst. I love this one. The faith-based nature of human-caused global warming. How does faith have anything to do with it? All right, let's see. Kevin's got a comment. On the subject of Carbon Brief, I used to support them, but when we entered abrupt climate change, they started lying. They also understate the multiple crises. I think that's another human trait there, Kevin. Underestimate. Denial. Well, that's all the stuff. I mean, I could do a show on all of the defense mechanisms. I recently found my old college books. I didn't even know I still had them. They were in the basement in boxes that I have to go through. I mean, we're talking a long time ago. I don't think this stuff is even relevant anymore. But, well, actually, the basics are. But we could go through the defense mechanisms and denial and all of them, but we're not going to, because we're going to talk about David Legatus. David's a creep. And David now, I guess, is a criminal. He has a PhD in climatology, and something about him. He is a joint associate professor. He was designated as Delaware State's climatologist. He was hired as Deputy Assistant of Commerce for Observation and reportedly tapped to head the U.S. Global Change Research Program. He would leave NOAA and serve until the end of Trump's term. He was later asked to step down as state climatologist by the dean of the university, although no one at the university was willing to explain the reason for replacing Legatus as the state climatologist. Greenpeace speculates that the reason may have been Legatus's close ties with Willie Soon, that other bastion of total fucking lying. He's the worst. In 2007, then Governor Ruth Ann Minner asked Legatus to stop using his formal title in public statements on climate change. So Legatus and Soon, they authored numerous papers together. And the 2007 polar bear study that was funded by none other than Koch Industries. Oh yeah, those bastions of libertarianism, scorched earth. So his actual stand on climate change is he is a signatory of the Oregon Petition. And that states that there is no convincing scientific evidence that human release of carbon dioxide, methane, or other greenhouse gases is causing or will in the foreseeable future cause catastrophic heating of the Earth's atmosphere and disruption of the Earth's climate. Moreover, there is substantial scientific evidence that increases in atmospheric carbon dioxide produce many beneficial effects upon the natural plant and animal environments of the earth. This is the bullshit that these guys have been spewing. Oh, it's good for the plants. But you see, the average individual stupid human laps it up like a dog dying to get to that last drop of water in the water bowl. They lap it up. They don't know. Those are the people that showed up in D.C. So another one of his wonderful statements when he was in the subcommittee on healthy oceans and healthy economies, the state of our oceans in the 21st century, he actually said, climate has always changed and weather is always variable due to complex, powerful natural forces. No effects to stabilize the climate can possibly be successful. The current emphasis on climate change abatement will do far more harm than good. But the thing is, burning fossil fuels is a definite no-go, and that has to stop, regardless of what any of them say. It has to stop. We know what the predicament we are is in. But I'd like to see it stop. And I think he's just either saying, give up, don't do a fucking thing, and there's none of us here, well, we're activists here, right? God, I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. So let's see. Man, he's really dumb. I'm not even going, not dumb. He's a manipulator. He's a gaslighter. And that's why he was picked to be in this administration. So let's go to his buddy. And we'll show him Mr. Ryan Maui. And another one, he's got a PhD in meteorology. I do this every time. Meteorology from Florida State University. Well, you know what? That's as good as Trump University. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry if any of you went to Florida State. That's wrong. You're as good as your education, as good as what you put into it. He was picked to serve as the new chief scientist at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in 2020. Remember that? I remember. It was just recently. The position, which does not require Senate confirmation, put him in charge of choosing the department's research priorities and playing a role in enforcing its scientific integrity process. Oh my God. And they question the role of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in climate change, and I just can't stand it. But you know, this guy was also right for the picking. He was an adjunct scholar at the Libertarian Cato Institute, and he worked with Patrick Michaels, another one, who has stated that the best solution is to do nothing regarding climate change, which none of us believe. Even the most ardent of what you want to say doomers don't believe that we should just sit here and let it happen. It's going to happen, though. That's a whole nother thing about, can we even stop? We're so addicted. It doesn't matter. These guys they're just, wait a minute. Oh, Maui was a meteorologist at Weather Bell Analytics, the same company where another climate change denier, Joseph Bastardi, serves as chief forecaster. But where does this stuff happen? Where do they come from? Even with Sharpiegate, Ryan Maui, is it true you defended the National Weather Service against Trump Sharpie but deleted the tweets now that you're head of NOAA? Oh my God, let me tell you something. The new administration hasn't started yet. So I am not going to critique them yet. I am sure there's going to be plenty to critique. Oh, and by the way, if you ever want to look and you want to learn about who all the climate science deniers are, this is the research. It's called a DSMOC, Climate Disinformation Database, and you can find them all. And Willie Soon, he's another disgusting one. And these people, it's the same old, and what they use is they call us climate alarmists. And they just want to keep the status quo. And I'm sorry, but the status quo ain't good enough. It's not. Willie Soon, let's find this one. Roy Spencer, that's another one. I've talked about him before. This is the biggest one. He is the most relatable. You know, we've seen him everywhere, and he's a research scientist, and he has his own blog. I don't know, Roy Spencer. He's also with Tony Heller. They're all these people. He might even be freaking Tony Heller. He goes on Fox. They're all the same, okay? But Desmog blog is really excellent, so I just wanted to show you that. So anybody out there, you can go find what you'd like, all right? Because there's a lot of really cool stuff out there if you don't know where to go. Desmog is great. But these guys, it's the same thing. So really what I wanted to do from the beginning of the show is talk about stupid humans, because it was evidenced as what we saw in the Capitol. Okay, and Anthony says capital of every state in a state of crisis warning. FBI warning MAGA in full gear, getting ready to do bad things. Sad days ahead. Sad days ahead. Well, I'm locked and loaded here. Sad days ahead. God damn. And so we go from stupid people, very easily led people, historically, and that is why I showed the video, and that is why I used the article on stupid people in Scientific American, and then we segued over to what happened in Washington and the papers that were put out under the White House, which are really not, and these kind of people, yes, the denier climatologists are well paid. These ugly people, ugly, awful people. And we're going to see more of them. Oh, and by the way, I have a funny before we close. I have a funny. So I have the Environmental Coffee House account on Twitter, and I have my personal one. And they had the picture, and I don't have it with me to put up, but everybody knows now. The horned guy that was in the Capitol standing in the middle, you know, with his Hun outfit on. There was something on Twitter where he was complaining, and his mother said he was so unhappy because he couldn't get his organic food in prison. And so somebody put up, and thousands of people answered about this, and I just simply put, as a goof, as a joke, he should be bitch slapped. And actually Twitter banned me for 48 hours, maybe more, because oh my God, I was advocating violence against someone. I mean, their algorithms are a little bit sensitive, wouldn't you say? I'd love to see that guy bitch slap. You think he's gonna make it in prison? Is he gonna bring his Hun horn? I thought it was pretty funny. Why can't you get on the page, Kim? It was pretty funny. So guys, we do have a little fundraiser. And let me do my little 2-second grift. Grifter I am not. But we have this little, it's really cute. It's called Buy Me a Coffee, and I like it. And I think I'm actually in it. You can have memberships, and you can have things that you put up there. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't know if I have the time, but it sure is a cute little one, and I thought it went out perfectly for us. And like I said, I'm not looking to make a living off this thing. There's just some things I want to be able to do with the channel that I can't afford to do because of personal reasons, and it's and if you can't give, I understand. I used to give to everybody when I could, and then when you lose it and you lose the ability to give, it hurts. It really hurts. Wow, I really hate it, but been an interesting show, don't you think? So I guess it's time that we just look at a few. Let's look at a few. Okay. Yeah. The Q shaman, or spiritual advisor and mascot of ARQ followers, now a national Q celebrity like many others that were photographed. Yeah. And then they also want to make that that person in the military that got killed, the chick that got killed, they're going to martyr her. So what is this going to be, a million martyr moron march? I don't know. But she's a martyr now, even though she knew what she was walking into and doing. I mean, law enforcement is way in on this, and the Black Lives Matters protesters were trying to tell all along that the white nationalist movement is infiltrating the police. It's really sad. It is just so sad. Well, thank you for the biosphere. You're a sweetheart. And Suzanne said it snowed in southeast Texas. Yeah, I listened to Collapse Chronicles today, and Sam was talking about the different weather effects going on, and he was on the Manatee story also in the beginning. It's just, it's horrific, really. It is. Oh, I had this one here. Public service announcement. The right to free speech means the government can't arrest you for what you say. It doesn't mean that anyone else has to listen to your bullshit or host you while you share it. The First Amendment doesn't shield you from criticism or consequences. If you're yelled at, boycotted, have your show canceled, or get banned from an internet community, your free speech rights aren't being violated. It's just that people listening to you think you're an asshole and they're showing you the door. Now, we're all for free speech. There's not one person here that really likes what's happening anywhere, because it is a conundrum. Do we get rid of that stupid fuck that was giving out his orders through Twitter because of national security? Do we care about our country? I mean, this is a whole other live stream. And you know what? There are a lot of other live streamers that go very well into all of this, you know, free speech. And I'm just making a joke. All right? All right. Anyway, guys, it has been an absolutely lovely evening. Thank you for coming. For what I understand, all of the big names of the Q movement were there, as many as expected, and they claimed they would be. Sadly, it's possible nothing will become of their actions last week. I don't know. We'll see. Well, if a comet tilts the Earth, we can have a cooler equator. You think that can happen? You know something? Anything. It seems like anything is possible. In my lifetime, I never thought I'd see the things I'm seeing. Nope. No. I'm going to say goodnight for tonight. Thank you all for coming. Share if you dare. And subscribe if you're not. And thank you, everyone. Anthony, Osama, Suzanne, Shutzi, Raza, Tanya, TCR, Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. You have problems yeah, I have a question about Extinction Rebellion America. There's Extinction Rebellion United States and Extinction Rebellion USA, and they're fighting over the number 4 bullet point. I was pretty shocked over that. If Extinction Rebellion is arguing and there's 2 factions, I think you kind of know we're fucked. So with that, I will say goodnight. 9 o'clock. Nighty night.